So last night, Kurt used our trusty app Park for Night and found us a great place to sleep. We ended up sleeping right under this windmill, talking to some locals and discovering some really fascinating history about the exact place we were parked. But before we get into that, we have to hold on a minute because we're passing a car. All right. Well, before we get into that, I want to back up and tell y'all some history about Ireland in general. Now, if you're from the States, you probably know, especially up in the northeast region of the United States, there is a big Irish culture. And a lot of Irish Americans live up there. Well, me, for one, I didn't know why. So we found out that back in the 1840s, running through the early 1850s, Ireland suffered from a horrific, horrible potato famine. Now, potato was the main source of food here in Ireland, and something came through and just wiped out the entire crop. And it caused anywhere from 1 million to 2 million, they don't know the exact numbers, of people here in Ireland to die. Literally starve to death or die from disease from the famine. Now, another 1 million people, guys, during that time fled Ireland, most of them on ships to the United States, the Great Irish Migration. That is why we have such a strong culture and such a connection with Ireland. So many people came on. Now, there's been other waves of immigration along the years, but that's the biggie. Now, if you back up, this area right here, Kurt, you talked to some locals, and what did they tell you?
Yeah, well, this area is Blinnerville, and as Snow said, there's a big windmill right here. But what the locals told me was this corridor, this canal right here, is where the primary migration happened. And so right here where we're looking out all over this canal and where these birds are, they would go out in little boats under this bridge, and they would take them out there to the big ships where they would load up for the long journey to the United States. But it was a really tragic time in Irish history.
Ten minutes into our drive this morning, true to what we're learning is common here in Ireland, we have found ourselves on what we call a single track road. And this is a pretty darn small one, and the pullouts for people passing each other seem to be few and far between. But we also have the trees overhead and the hedges on the side. We've gone through a couple of hairpins where we've got old ancient bridge walls that we're barely fitting through. How you doing over there, Kurt?
I gotta tell you, we're just putting along, slow going it like we do in areas like this. There's not much room to pull over, but it's just so stunning. We're coming here through the farms, and of course this is sheep country, and this is also dairy country, and Ireland's known for their Irish cheeses, especially their cheddars. And also, as Snow said, there's just historic ruins of old farmhouses, walls, churches, all sorts of stuff that you just randomly see through here. And so we're just kind of wandering through the brambles and through the beautiful flowers. And I think we're going to go up over a little mountain range to get to the other coast. So I am excited.
There's always something to be scared of, but there's no joy without the pain. There's no flying without leaping. There's no rainbow without rain. There's no hiding from misfortune, but there's always room for hope. Life's not one thing or the other. It's a little bit of both. When you see the beauty, don't let it slip away. When you look
basically we kind of came up over a little mountain ridge that runs down the middle of the Dingle Peninsula, and we've dropped down onto the other coast. Now we're going to work our way out to the end of this peninsula, but I just wanted to stop in and tell you there has been a driver change, still on a single track road, but we are almost on a coastal road. As we come into Dingle, we were riding up the coast and we kind of came inland a little bit, and now we're headed back towards the coast. As we come down here into Dingle, we can see up on top of one of those hills is something we're here to see and something we're here to show you. So we're really excited about that. It looks like it's going to be a steep hike. We don't know about the drive up there. We'll let you know as we get closer, but definitely love for Snow to see this. So here's Dingle.
As we're rolling into Dingle, gonna get a few errands done. We like when we find a Lidl that has a good parking lot for us. Lidls are turning out to be our favorite. I don't know if there are any back in the States, but they're kind of like Aldi's, but just a little bit better, right, Curdy?
Yeah, they get everything we need. They're cheap, smaller portion sizes. We like it. And now we got to get some water for the tank. Guys, you always ask about the shower. We have been doing nothing but showering in the van here for the last few weeks, and we're going to continue. Got to go fetch some water.
So, gonna fill up with diesel, fill up with water, and then get back on the road. To live van life full time requires errand days.
Take the next left to stay on
Today's
Snow
turning into an errand day, right, Curdy?
Yep.
So it looks like diesel costs $1.76 a liter. We had to get 68 liters. I'll let y'all do the math. And to turn a liter into gallons, you got to multiply it times 4. So $1.76 times 4 is how much diesel costs a gallon here in Dingle, Ireland in September. Oh, there we go. Kurt's gonna clean our windows. We needed that. That's nice. Now, we also have heard that on the side of this building, up by the car wash, we can get some potable water. So I walked up there to check it out, and there is a water hose there that says potable. Here, maybe there's something on the corner.
All wooden buildings, colorful things. We're fine right now. We're gonna zoom around here. If we see something, we'll whip her in there, but I'm not optimistic. We're just gonna pull in right down here in this area. There's parking out there.
It's got a bar, so I don't know if it's marina parking. Up here might not have a bar. We'll have to see. Y'all just came along for a ride of something that's normal, looking for somewhere to park this big giant beast. We went through the paid parking lot and couldn't fit, and then there was some areas that have bars over them, but then we looked across the street, and as far as we can tell, this is free street side parking, and Kurt is a master at squeezing this land yacht into parallel parking. It took a couple of times, but he got it done. This is where we're gonna have lunch. Hopefully we can pop the drone up here because this is a cool little fishing town. But first, lunch, we're hungry. So this is the fun little Irish town of Dingle. Now Dingle is the city that sits in the middle of the Dingle Peninsula, and we'll be taking you all around the peninsula and showing you all the cool stuff this place has to offer. It is known for rugged coastline, dramatic cliffs, ancient history that dates back thousands of years, stunning views, and some wildlife if you get lucky. But Dingle, the city, is actually known for a few things. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that if you want to come and slowly travel around Ireland and you do not travel in a camper van like we do, to see the Dingle Peninsula, the town of Dingle is where you would want to stay. It is loaded with great little pub restaurants, seafood places, Irish stew specialties, tons of good food, little bed and breakfasts, small hotels. I'm sure there's an Airbnb culture here where you could probably get a nice little cottage in this town, maybe even overlooking the water. But it is a beautiful, colorful, vibrant little Irish town that is obviously very proud of its culture. Now, a few things about Dingle that I found as fun facts is Dingle is known for Fungie the dolphin, F-U-N-G-I-E. Now, Fungie has been a resident of Dingle for many, many decades. He's lived here. He's considered a local. He comes up to visit from time to time. But most people who want to catch a glimpse of the famous Dingle resident get on a boat tour and go out looking for him. Now, we'll keep an eye out, but so far we have not spotted Fungie the dolphin. Another thing is this town is part of the Galtactic, I know I'm saying that wrong, guys, Galtactic region of Ireland, which means they fluently still speak the Irish language here. Don't worry, everyone speaks English and that is the main language, but the signs are going to have both languages on it. And if you wanted to be super kind to the locals, you could probably use your Google Translator and pick up a few Irish little sayings to say, because this is a part of the world where they still do fluently speak the Irish language. Now, another thing about Dingle, and probably one of my favorite, and I don't know how this could possibly be the case, because so far in Ireland, everyone we meet that lives here, Irish locals, are some of the friendliest people we have met on earth. But the Dingle locals are known for being extra welcoming, extra friendly, and just really go above and beyond at welcoming the tourists and sharing their town and sharing their Irish culture. So if you're coming to Southwest Ireland, this is in the County Kerry region. This is a place you should put on your list, and possibly where you could call home base. All right, I'm headed back to the van to meet Curt. And one thing I don't think we share with you guys very often is how we get cash in other countries. When you travel full time, getting all the different currencies and exchanging money can get complicated. So what we did is, before we left the States 5 years ago, we opened up a banking account at a bank called Charles Schwab. Now, Charles Schwab does not charge international ATM fees. And if an international ATM charges you a fee, Charles Schwab will actually reimburse you. So for full-time or extended time international travel, it's actually a good bank card to have. So for us, super easy just to go up to an ATM and pull out the local currency. Saves us from dealing with all the exchange houses and stuff like that. So I just did that because we were running low on euros, and now I'm almost back to the van. I didn't film it because my hands were full, but to get into the van, I literally had to climb over this plush ball. She was not moving. All right, we have left the charming little seaside Irish town of Dingle, and we are driving a short ride across the harbor from where we just were. Now, we could see this from where we stopped there to give y'all a look at the town, and we could tell that it was farming land, and now we're going down these narrow little roads with hay tractors off to one side, and now we're coming up on some little houses. But we're gonna go up here and we're gonna park at a farmer's farm or house or driveway, and we're gonna walk through his private property to get up onto the top of one of these little mountains. And up there is a couple of cool buildings. Now, as we were headed this way, I really had hoped this was a hike I was going to be able to do as well. But when we got a peek at it from Dingle over there, it looks awfully steep, doesn't it, Curt?
Yeah, it does. And, well, the sun's out today. It's pretty bright. Doesn't look like there's a lot of trees up there. So it could be a hot hike, too. So
and double against me.
Altitude and the heat probably is not your friend.
Yeah, so I'm probably, unfortunately, going to stay in the car. And we talked about whether we still wanted to do this or not. I think it's about an hour and a half round trip hike. But the history that is up on top of this little mountain where these two buildings are is just way too cool to miss. Curt feels like he's got a little bit of a hike in him. So we're going to head up here and see if we can find this farmer's house. You pay them €2 per person to walk across their farmland, where I hear rumor you may see some sheep up close and personal, Curdy. But there it is. I don't know if you can see up in the distance, that little cone-looking building on top of that mountain. That's where Curt is going to be taking you guys.
Guys, you can see the van is there, and then the bay below and across the way, Dingle. And up in front of us is, well, the main attraction. Snow's gonna tell you about it when I get up there, but I wanted to take a minute while I'm walking up here, first thing, to tell you that I met Tom and, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. Her name starts with T too, so we're gonna call them Dynamite. Tom and Teresa, I think. Oh, in any event, Tom said that he's lived here his whole entire life. This is where he's born and this is where he's gonna die. And he owns the property here from fence line to fence line, up to the coast on the other side, and all the way down to the bay behind the house. And so for €2, he lets us walk up here through his farms. And what's more incredible is I had the opportunity to just listen to the history of the story of this place and him and his family, and that was really cool and really special. So we're gonna walk up here and we're gonna see this thing. Let's go. What's up, guys? I think I gotta get through there. What you guys doing, huh? What you doing?
So me and the kitties are parked here at the farmer's house, chilling. We've got the sun visors up, the door open. They've got a nice view of some trees. We're relaxed while Curt is taking you up to the top of this hill. But I wanted to take a minute and tell you a little bit about this and kind of save Curt the time when he's up top, so he can focus on just getting you guys up there and getting you some really good views.
All right, I'm a little winded, but I gotta be honest with you. I hiked up that thing fast. And the reason I could do it fast was because there's a lot of switchbacks. So this trail is like perfect where you can just set your pace and just kind of go on up. And I did have to take a stop a couple times, but I got up here quick. And wow, I am just stupefied by the beauty of this place. It is absolutely amazing as we can look out and see into the south, into the sea, and there's some islands out there as well. And I don't know if that big ship is a military ship or what kind of ship it is out there. There's a little bit of haze today, but still, I'm stoked for the visibility that we have. And you can see down there, the cliffs, oh, and the fields push right up to where the sea has just caved off the mountain, the land, reclaimed it, if you will. And then of course, what we've been looking at the whole way up is the town down there and all the farmland. And then we still have a little bit more to go up here to get to the lighthouse.
So this stone tower, built up on top of Carhu Hill, it is overlooking the Dingle Harbor where we just were, but it also offers panoramic views of the Blasket Islands, Sleigh Head, Bentry, and the Everog Peninsula. I know I said a lot of that wrong, but I can tell you we'll be taking you to a few of those places, but not the islands. No boat trip, at least not from this peninsula here in Ireland. Now, what's cool about this is not that it was built in 1847, because yes, that's cool, it's very old. But what makes this place special is why it was built. So the Eask Tower was built as a famine relief project. Now, you know, not long ago in this video, we told you about the Great Potato Famine, where millions of people fled Ireland, mostly immigrating to the United States, and also died. I mean, it was a horrible, horrific time here in Ireland. So to provide relief from some of the death and mass immigration and the economic depression that was going on, the British government initiated various public works projects, including the building of the Eask Tower. So they built these things to create jobs. Now the purpose of this one was to guide ships into the Dingle Harbor, kind of like a lighthouse, kind of like a beacon, just so ships would know where to go. Now it did help a little bit ease some of the hardship by providing a little bit of money, which helped some of the locals here survive during that time. But there just wasn't much they could do to fight this Great Potato Famine. When it was originally built in 1847, it was 52 feet tall. In the 1900s, they added about 13 feet to the top of that, making it close to 65 feet tall to make a better line of sight for the ships and make it a little bit easier for the tower to guide the ships to where they needed to go. Now, this tower also has some significant war history. In World War II, this was manned, from what we understand, by volunteers from the Dingle community who would go up and watch from the tower for invasions, from ships or planes coming in. Now, I don't think it ever actually saw any active battles here because it was a great deterrent. So the enemy knew not to come here because from this lookout tower during the war, they would be seen far, far in advance, and there was a way that the people in the tower could warn, the local military bases and the local towns. So it was a great deterrent during the war, and they also have a little shed up there next to it, I believe. We'll see if Curt finds that, where the volunteers kind of stayed during their unofficial military lookout.
Woo! All right, guys, we made it to the top. Soaked in these stunning views. Wow, wow, wow. But we're gonna head back down. We're gonna make quick work of it. We still got more stuff to see. Ireland is getting me fired up. Ah, wow.
We are reunited. I'm hearing all about it. Now we have maybe a 20-minute drive to a place where maybe we can spend the night because it's getting late in the day. And it's right next to something we really want to show you, but I think it'll be tomorrow before we show you. But we're going to take you with us to see if this is a place we're going to be able to camp or not. Let's go. Was it fun, Curt?
It was a blast, but it's been a long day, a lot of activities. We are getting late in the day, and we got these single tracks to contend with.
Yes, we do. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us a lot. And if you want to see more of our videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. We'll see you guys in a few days from somewhere out here in the world. Cheers.